On this week's episode, we talk about a new film, Locked Down,
The Golden Globe nominations.
and other pop culture news of the week.
It's February 4th, and the seer of seer, the prognosticator of prognosticators, has spoken. Phil from Puxitani Hill?
Punxsutawney, yeah, Punxsutawney Phil.
Puxitani, Pennsylvania, got out of his tree goblet
Hole?
and seen his shadow, and yeah, folks, are gonna have 6 more weeks of winter. Not gonna have an early spring. Yesterday was Groundhog Day.
Yeah, and in a foolproof and totally scientific system,
Yes.
a large, adorable furry rodent saw his shadow, and therefore we will have 6 more weeks of winter.
Yes.
So, bundle up and watch something inside.
Yes, talking about something inside, I did see Groundhog Day as tradition demands,
Yes.
and the movie is great. It
Yep.
has everything. It has romance, comedy, drama. It
Mm-hmm.
has some dark turns. He tried to kill himself like several
Yo,
times.
really dark. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, for me, a new thing this time was I found a young Zod, Michael Shannon, as a teenager.
It's so bizarre. You sent me the picture. He's all like cute and baby faced and grinning ear to ear.
He has 2 scenes. In the first scene, he's in a diner. I didn't notice it was him. On the second scene, they are in this big ball dance celebration at the end, and then he's standing up and he talks to Bill Murray. I was like, wait a minute. Yeah. So, yeah. Quick curiosity about the movie. Harold Ramis, who does have a cameo in the movie. He's a doctor, and you might know him from he's a very prolific director, but he also an actor. You might remember him from Ghostbusters. He was Egan Spengler, the one with glasses.
Oh yeah.
That one. He did directed episodes of shows like The Office. I think Modern Family he did too.
Mm-hmm.
Before he passed last year, but during the shooting, the producing of Groundhog Day, he considered people like Chevy Chase, Steve Martin, and John Travolta for the role of Phil Connors.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
yeah, but he considered them too nice for the role. And it was so perfect, Scrooge. Bill Murray was like this terrible person,
Yeah.
but
Okay. I can see
But
that.
the movie, but in the movie, the character develops into hey, it
Yeah.
changes. That's great.
That's interesting because I think of Bill Murray as just this total sweetheart.
Yeah, but in those movies, he starts like this terrible person.
He
No?
is total jerk.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
Interesting. All
Okay,
right.
so enough. Groundhog Day.
We can have the same conversation next year.
Yeah, and again and again and
And
again.
again, yes. Hmm.
Okay, so what we have next?
Okay, so let's go to the new film we watched this week. It's on HBO Max. It's called Locked Down, and it stars Anne Hathaway and Chiwetel Ejiofor. And yes, I did look up how to pronounce his name, so I'll do it right.
How is it the first name?
Chiwetel?
Chiwetel. Do you know
Yeah.
where is it from?
I did not read far enough.
Okay.
I was short on time. I was just like, okay, how do I say this? And that's what IMDb said. So if I said it wrong, it's IMDb's fault.
Yeah.
Anyway, new film. It's not Lockdown, it's Locked Down.
Yeah.
2 words. Just FYI. Yeah, and I really liked it. I'm not
Yeah,
sure
it was
the genre, but
it was different than I expected,
mm-hmm,
but it was fun. It was entertaining,
mm-hmm,
and so it was shot during the pandemic
mm-hmm.
lockdown, and the theme I mean, as the movie says, is about a lockdown, and specifically a couple
Mhm.
that, ironically, spoiler alert, that ironically is not a couple anymore, but because of the lockdown, they have to remain together.
Yeah, in very close quarters with each other too. Like,
Hmm.
yeah. And this is the lockdown in London, which so one of the more extreme like actual lockdowns that happened in the world.
Yeah,
So yeah, they're this couple. They've drifted apart. They're dealing with. So the first part of the movie, they're dealing with the relationship tensions, but also trouble at work. Um, Ejiofor plays this guy who he was a truck driver, but he's been furloughed, and so he has no job, no prospects, like no nothing. He's in like a really low point in his life. At one point, he like jokes about killing himself, but you can't really tell to what extent he's joking and
that's true.
he's actually serious. So he's like at a really low point. And Hathaway's character is actually CEO of like a luxury goods brand. And I think like Tiffany is kind of what it reminded me of. But I'm pretty sure they made up the brand. Anyway, she's a CEO of this luxury brand, but so even though she's at like the top of her career and is just getting more and more opportunity, more and more trust and responsibility and salary and all the rest, she's also having a bit of a crisis because as she rises in her company, she's kind of hating herself and what she has to do more and more. So like at the very beginning, she has to fire a bunch of really lovely people, and um, so they're both dealing like their relationship isn't great, but then they have these like professional crises. So they're both kind of going through like existential crises, and that kind of carries us through the first hour or so of the movie. Um, but then things shift. So they have this crisis that I think a lot of us can relate to after going through the lockdown. Like when your whole life changes and the world changes and there's a lot of self-examination. Anyway, lots of that stuff. But then um, Ejiofor gets a call from his former boss saying, "Hey, if you um, I've got a job for you, but we have to give you a fake ID because this job is like really high level security. It's like transporting a really high value or a high value product, and you have a criminal record. So I'm going to give you a fake ID so that you can do it. And if you do well with this, then I can give you like a better job later." So he finally gets an opportunity, but he's got to commit another crime. And yeah, what happens next, Alex?
Well, the both, as you said, both characters in very different situations,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know. One might blame the pandemic, lockdown,
Mm-hmm.
isolation, but they start like rethinking life and rethinking, uh, uh, what to do next, because it's kind of like there's not when you are in the kind of situation, it's tough to think what to do next period. Anyways,
Sure.
so as they drift apart because they broke up, there's
Mm-hmm.
still some elements that keep them together. For instance, she buys a motorcycle. He's selling a motorcycle,
Yeah.
and she buys the motorcycle to give him the motorcycle. So
Mm-hmm.
uh, and it's funny because there's some moments that he talks about, oh, the love of my life is leaving, and you think he's talking about her, and he's
Yeah.
talking about the motorcycle.
She thinks he's talking about her. She's like, "You'll move on. You'll find someone else."
Yeah,
You're talking about your bike. Okay.
yeah. But then he corrects himself. It's like, no, no, no. I'm able to. I'm willing to. I'm allowed to have more than one love of my
Yeah.
life.
Right. Good.
Yeah, yeah. One animated and one inanimated.
Mhm.
Anyways, so yeah, where we want to go now? Shall we jump to the heist?
um,
He's a
well, one of
poet.
the
He
things,
goes outside and declaims
yeah,
poetry to the neighborhood. I thought it was very interesting, and it makes me wonder how real was that, because it was during the pandemic,
it
and and
was.
and so there was some sort of lockdown. Uh, I have
Oh,
want to talk about this whole pandemic situation, but yeah, go ahead.
well, just something else. I forgot because I got kind of excited about the ending and like how how there's just kind of this big shift in the plot at the end. But as they're going through this lockdown, they're also reminiscing about like every now and then they'll say like, oh, when we met, or like, oh, this one time, and you come to find out that their past was really different. So right now they're living like in a nice neighborhood, they've got a nice flat, but it seems like in their past, like they were big into like drugs and like rock and roll. They were like wild, crazy people. They met at Sturgis, which is like this huge motorcycle rally in South Dakota. Um, and yeah, like his motorcycle is his life. And at one point, he's going to the grocery store. She's like, "Hey, you need a mask." And he's like, "Ah, oh, I don't know where mine is." So he pulls out this bandana and he ties it on his face like a bandit. And she's like, "Oh, that you were wearing that when I met you." So they have this wild and crazy past that you learn more about as things as the show goes on, but they've kind of obviously have changed a lot since then. And that comes to be very important, not just to their characters, but to the plot.
Yeah, and also about the past. There's a couple moments that she mentioned. It's like she quote evolved into her professional career,
Mm-hmm.
and now she's a CEO. Now she makes a lot of money. She deals with people from all over the planet, and that's one thing. Because of lockdown, the meeting she has is through Zoom, through
Yes.
Skype, whatever. It's through the computer, and we see some big stars when she meets with people,
Yes.
which was pretty funny, including people like
Ben Stiller.
Ben Stiller. We
Yeah.
see Kelly. What's her name?
Oh, that's
Mindy
right.
Mindy
Mindy
Kaling,
Kaling. Mm-hmm.
among other big names. But one interesting thing about the past is like she talks about the past in a way that's like she's here professionally now, but in the past when she was lower, especially the time she worked at Harrods, she said it was the best time of her life.
Yeah, like it's clear that she's really unhappy.
Yes.
So they're both unhappy for different reasons. He's unhappy because his life is going nowhere. She's unhappy because of where her life has taken her.
Hmm.
It seems, but
Yeah.
yeah,
So it comes to the point of the pandemic. They are about to leave. He's losing both love of his life,
yeah.
and becomes the boss. He's like, "Hey, you have to do this," and then he, sorry, he convinces her to join, and she goes even bigger, right?
Kind of. So what happens at this point, and this is what I think is really cool. So the movie is about 2 hours long. The first like hour and a half, it's all like their relationship and the lockdown. But then in the last 45 minutes or so, all these like details from the beginning come together and and these characters have been presented the perfect opportunity to steal a 3 million pound diamond. So what's happening is she's a CEO at this brand, this luxury brand. She isn't responsible for getting some of their product out of Harrods because Harrods is closing for the first time in 100 years. So they got to get all this stuff out so that looters don't get it. So she's responsible for that. And it comes to find out that um, Ejiofor's character, Paxton is his name. Um,
No,
the
no, no. It's Edgar Allan Poe.
Right, yes, Edgar Allan Poe's his fake ID. Right, genius.
It,
Who's gonna catch
it
that?
it is hilarious. So the boss creates him a
Yeah,
fake ID, but the whole
Ben Kingsley.
yeah, Ben Kingsley, he's hilarious on it. But he
Uh,
creates this fake ID for him, and he and the name is Edgar Allan Poe.
yeah, And he's like, I'm gonna get arrested. What are you doing to me? Anyway, it turns out that Paxton's slash Edgar Allan Poe, he is the truck driver who is going to pick up all of the stuff that Anne Hathaway is supposed to be packing up. So they realize, like, wait a second, like, we can work together. We can steal this diamond, and we can just, no one will know about it. And we can just go off and like live our lives, and I can quit this job that makes me miserable, and you can be a poet, and I can paint, and we can just be happy. And so now they have like the whole moral dilemma plus the whole like heist that's not really a heist. And anyway, total shift, but in a really fun
one quick note about the whole doing this together, and how it's like how life from for them go from happiness to unhappiness at the same time that for her goes from, professionally she goes up to the point that she keeps the fact that she had this relationship from everybody.
That's right.
Nobody knows that she has a boyfriend, fiance, or whatever. So yeah.
Yeah, and so it's like all these little details like that really come together, that like nobody knows she has a boyfriend. There's a duplicate, like a perfect copy of the diamond. Somebody has bought the diamond just to keep in a safe somewhere and isn't even going to look at it ever. It's just going to go straight from Harrods to a safe in New York City. The whole fact, like, he's driving the van. She's best friends with like all these people who worked at Harrods and knows the whole security system. Like all these little details that they kind of planted in different conversations all throughout the beginning of the movie come together. It kind of reminded me of a Seinfeld episode. Like all the random things that you don't think are that big a deal suddenly all come to fruition at the very end. It was kind of like that.
Yeah. No, it was good that way. Before some things about the big heist, which usually don't like what they did, but they did such a good way. But anything before that, one interesting thing was the production aspects. They got this deal, and they were allowed to shoot at the Harrods, and they went everywhere.
I was wondering about that.
In the undergrounds, in the store part, in the vault, and it was pretty amazing.
Wow.
And it was actually very beautiful, because you saw these places that usually are super busy, full of people, completely empty. They walk through the galleries, and she mentions, oh, I worked here, and I used to take my lunches here, and they have food together at those places. They are now empty and quiet because of the pandemic. And in some moments, that the camera is like, they use a fisheye, and I assume the production was very small, because during the pandemic you don't want to have a lot of people, but it worked. It worked. I thought it was a terrific job.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And to be allowed to shoot there was a big deal. It's not everybody that are able to do that, especially during pandemic days.
Yeah, no kidding. I was wondering about the locations and things, especially Harrods. It looked good. It looked real, but
no, it was there.
Well, they go through moral dilemma after moral dilemma, and they finally decide, okay, we're gonna do it. And then right at this critical moment, as they're like swapping out the diamonds, like the fake for the real one, Mark Gaddis walks in. She just fired him, and he's like, hey, the police came and said that like your driver's using a fake ID, and I came to tell you. And she's like, but I fired you. And he's like, I just had to tell you. And then she just tells him everything, and he goes off on this whole spiel, like, you know what? Yeah, like this brand is terrible, and we're just gonna do something good and give the money to the NHS, and so that kind of brings up another thing this movie did really well. It gives you like a nice look and like a very subtle commentary on like the wealthy dealing with the pandemic versus like average people dealing with the pandemic, and how some companies really benefited while other people were just devastated economically. But it was all very subtle. Like they didn't have to say it. They just kind of showed it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So in a lot of ways, I think this is going to last as a really good movie, just about the pandemic in general. Like,
yeah.
and about like just the very average experience. We talked a little while ago about how The Good Doctor came back, and they opened the season with these like really heavy hitting episodes about COVID-19, and it was just so depressing. Um, and I don't feel like we're ready for that yet, coming from our entertainment or from our media. There will be a time for that. I just don't think it's now. But this one I thought was really well done.
Yeah, and one thing that you just mentioned that I usually don't like it, but in this case I liked it too, is the whole fact that she convinces the guy to let them go and to be part of the whole
Mhm.
thing,
Mhm.
and as you say, the whole pandemic aspect uh, helps to. It's like, okay, I guess this is really believable. This guy lost his
Sure.
job, and there's this chaotic situation. He takes care of his old mom, and yeah, comes this lady. It's like, hey, now you can be a millionaire. You can take care of your family, and nobody's gonna get hurt because nobody's gonna never find out. And usually this easy way out by arguing with someone to say, hey, let me do it. But on this case, when she starts speaking, I was like, oh no. But when she finished talking, I was like, okay, I got it. It works. I mean, maybe because the real life situations we live in because of the pandemic these days.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Like it maybe wouldn't make sense before, but in this whole like new normal and the absolute insanity, especially
Mhm.
of those early days of the pandemic, like why not? Of
Yeah.
course. Like um yeah, and it's what ended it ended really nicely. Like their relationship, they got back to like who they were and what they loved about themselves and about each other, and they end up in a really good place. And
Yeah.
there's a great mid-credit scene. You got to stick around through the mid-credit scene because he finally gets to make his loaf of bread. Uh,
Oh, I missed that. I didn't see that.
yeah, it's not that big. You just see him in the kitchen with his iPad and his recipe, and he's like dancing around, like weighing the flour,
Oh,
and he bakes like a decent loaf of bread.
oh,
It
cool.
looks good. I'm super hungry right now. I could totally go for that loaf of
So
bread.
I thought the ending was he and the two loves of his life riding to the sunset. Ah, there was more.
Yeah,
I mean, of
yeah.
course,
There's a little more. They ride off in the sunset, and then that scene ends, and then you see him in their apartment. It's his birthday, and he's all like,
yes,
"Yay, it's my birthday!" She's like, "I'm sorry, they've just extended the lockdown 2 more weeks."
yeah. But she
Um,
allows him to bake bread.
yes, yeah. She's like, "I forgot to give you something. Here, you can bake the bread." Anyway, it's really cute, and
Yeah.
it does a good job of showing like they're back together. They've found like who they are. Their relationship is stronger for having been through this, and
And as a good Edgar Allan Poe, he goes out and recite
he
poetry
does.
again for the
Yes.
neighborhood.
Mhm.
Yeah,
With D.H. Lawrence.
they do show just one quick thing. They do show people celebrating, honoring the NHS, like hitting
Yes,
hands
like
up.
the yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Something on that note, remember Sir Tom, what was his name?
Oh, I saw that he died, right?
Yeah, the old World War II vet who had raised
Hmm.
like £1 million or something for the NHS.
Yeah,
He died, and he didn't just die; he died of COVID-19,
yeah. I mean,
which was just
was he wasn't he sick before?
he may have been. He was about 100 years old, I think. I think he was
That's
actually
true.
100 years old.
Yeah, and
Um,
with the new strain. Yeah.
yeah, so that was
Yeah, may he rest in
a
peace.
bummer.
And
Mhm.
yeah, he did help a lot of people both in the war and recently.
He did. He did.
So lockdown with the Oscar awarded actress Anne Hathaway and also the Oscar awarded actor Chiwetel Elijah for.
In GO4, yeah.
Yeah, it's available on HBO Max and is worth to watch. Yeah, if you guys go watch it.
Yeah, I recommend it. It was really, really nice.
Okay, so let's go through this. Just today, they announced the nominated movies and TV shows and
Hmm.
etc. for the Golden Globes Award. That
Yeah.
that I forgot when is it, but I don't know, probably April.
Oh, I looked it up. It's February 28th.
Oh, really? They're gonna do
Yeah.
pretty
February
soon.
28th. And Tina Fey and and Amy Poehler are hosting. One of them will be on the East Coast and one on the West Coast.
Oh yeah, that I saw.
Yeah,
Which,
but I think February 28th is the day.
okay. So yeah, so let's go through some things. Where you want to start?
Well, the first highlight for me right off the bat was The Mandalorian getting a nomination.
Yes.
There's no question that it's deserved, but I'm pretty excited that it actually happened.
Yeah, Disney's getting big with their streaming service.
Yeah, and just the whole idea of a Star Wars show getting that kind of attention, like, it feels good. It feels good.
Yeah, and reminisce back to the original Star Wars that got a Best Movie nomination,
Mm,
and Best Actor in Supporting Role for Sir Alec Guinness, and
mm,
score, special effects, all that.
yeah.
Yeah. Netflix got 22 film nominations and 20
Mhm.
TV nominations. The runner up only has 7. I think I saw the number somewhere. The Netflix at 35% of the nominations, which is
Yeah. It's like out of control. I was so surprised to see that. And you can see that on the Golden Globes website. They list like by the films by production company and TV shows. And yeah, Netflix is there with in the 20s, and the next highest number was
yeah.
only 7 in both categories.
And it's
So
something, and
Netflix
it's
has done very well for themselves.
yeah, and it's something that was doomed to happen. It's not because of pandemic people watching more. So no, they've been investing on this as a plan. It's working.
Yeah.
Uh,
They haven't just been churning out content; they've been churning out really good stuff.
yes.
Because the shows, both the TV show and the movie with the most nominations, are both from Netflix. So The Crown was a TV show, and they've got nominations for like actors and writing and music, all kinds of stuff. And then Mank, which we haven't seen. I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but that's the film that earned the most nominations, and that's also on Netflix.
Yes.
Hmm.
And Taylor Joy was nominated for Emma, and also from Netflix show Queen's
Hmm.
Gambit.
Yeah, good year for her.
Yeah, and
I haven't
also
seen her yet, but yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
I would say also from Netflix, but it's not from Netflix. Chadwick Boseman was no, it is Ma Rainey's Black Panther. It is Netflix, right?
Is it? I don't remember. I
I
haven't heard
think
of it.
so. Yeah, Chadwick Boseman got a possibly nomination for Best Actor. And okay, so let me get my all the list here.
Yeah.
Some stuff that I want to go through. So for Best Motion Picture Drama, we have The Father, Mank, Nomadland, Praise Young Woman, and The Trial of Chicago 7.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I guess this one, I just want to talk about this real quick to put out there. Nothing extra special. For Best Motion Picture Musical Comedy, we have Borat, subsequent movie film,
Mm-hmm.
Hamilton, Music, Palm Springs, and The Prom. And what I want to talk about here is Hamilton.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. I wouldn't have counted that as a film.
Yeah,
I mean, I am not one to get between Hamilton and awards because it's an extraordinary production, but is it a movie? Does it count?
yeah, I don't know. It was already announced that they will not get nominations for the Academy Awards for the Oscars,
Mm-hmm.
but the Golden Globe Academy was like, whatever, let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Still on that note, best performance by actor in a motion picture: Sacha Baron Cohen for Bora, James Corden for The Prom, Dev
Okay.
Patel for The Personal History of David Copperfield, Andy
Okay.
Samberg for Palm Springs, and Lin-Manuel Miranda for Hamilton.
Yeah. You know what? All due respect to the man, he's not even that good an actor. He is
Yes,
not the best actor in
yes,
that play.
yes. No, and
He's an unbelievable writer, but
people
yeah,
were talking about it was like the other guy should get first, Burr.
sure. Yeah, Leslie Odom Jr. Leslie Odom Jr. was nominated for something else though.
Yeah,
Um, I don't remember the name of the movie, but he's got a nomination as well.
yeah.
So Sacha Baron Cohen, there's another one who got, so he's got it for Barat and for
Chicago, the trial of
Chicago.
Chicago 7. Yeah.
Yeah. There's
Uh,
people who
mhm.
are up for multiple productions.
Best motion picture, animated animation. The Croods New Age is doing good at the box office out there. Over the Moon. Didn't see that one, so I saw that one. Wolf Walkers. I started. I don't know if you guys finished it.
I don't.
Uh, I started
Oh,
Cindy. Really
yeah.
beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Onward, and Onward would be my favorite from the list. Just
You think so?
so far, yeah, I didn't finish the Wolf ones, and I
Mm,
thought Soul was okay.
yeah.
I liked it, but
That was interesting.
I still think the character developments, the other characters, everything on Onward work better, and yeah, so kind of stayed a small movie. I don't know. It's just me.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. I would like it to go to one of the Pixar's or to Wolfwalkers out of that list.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
Onward is Pixar.
yeah, as I said, one of the Pixar's. I
Okay.
wouldn't mind Soul. I thought Soul was incredibly ambitious in its scope and did a really nice job. Um, but I don't know. But Onward was, well. Anyway, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, anyways, best performance by actress in supporting role in any motion picture.
Mm-hmm.
We have Olivia Colman in The Father, Jodie Foster in The Mauritanian, Amanda Seyfried in Mank, Helena Zingo in News of the World, and Glenn Close for Hillbilly Elegy, which we already talked about it. I
Yeah.
mean, did we? No, we didn't. It's like, I mean, it was a
Yeah, we
surprise.
talked about it.
It was pre-recorded, which it shouldn't be a surprise, but it was a surprise. Anyways, best performance by an actor in supporting role in motion picture: Sacha Baron Cohen in Chicago 7,
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Kaluuya for Judas in The Black Messiah, Jared Leto, The Little Things, which you're gonna see as soon as we get back. Bill Murray on The Rocks, that it's on the list for us to see as well. And Leslie Odom Jr. for One Night in Miami.
Yeah.
Best Director, Emerald Fennell, Promising Young Woman. I almost saw that one last week. David Fincher from Mank. Regina King from One Night in Miami. Aaron Sorkin for The Trial of Chicago 7, and Chloe Zhao for Nomadland. Interesting aspect that everybody's talking about is like record nomination
A
for
lot of
women,
women.
three
Mm-hmm.
out of five.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your move, Academy.
Best screenplay motion picture, Promising Young Woman, Mank, The Trial of Chicago 7. It's like Aaron Sorkin being nominated for screenplay.
What? Crazy.
So he's also nominated for best director, which is the first time. And I don't know about directing, especially against the three women. The odds are not in his favor, but for writing, I'm pretty sure he's got that one. Best television series: The Crown, Lovecraft Country, Mandalorian, Ozark, and Ratched. And what I want to talk about here is Netflix, HBO, Disney, Netflix, Netflix. It's not even television.
Yeah, I was noticing that too. Like I mean, Netflix, even taking Netflix out, they're still dominated by streaming services.
Yeah,
So, and not even like cable networks. Like these are just streaming services.
yeah. I mean HBO, but still,
Well, yeah, but
yeah.
yeah.
Actress in a television series, we have Olivia Colman for The Crown, Judy Comer Killing Eve, Emma Corrin The Crown, Laura Linney Ozark, Sarah Paulson Hatchet. I just want to go through this real quick. Best performance actor in a television series, I have Jason Bateman for Ozark, Josh O'Connor for The Crown, Bob Odenkirk for Better Call Saul, Al Pacino for Hunters, and Matthew Rice for Perry Mason. Again, not a lot of TV there, all streaming. Best television series, musical or comedy, Emily in Paris from Netflix, The Flight
Yep.
Attendant, HBO Max, The
Ah,
Great, Hulu, Schitt's Creek from Pop TV, or I guess that's on this TV, and Ted Lasso for Apple Plus.
yeah, I was surprised but quite delighted.
Yeah,
That was
and
a well, yeah.
Kaylee Cuoco and the crew of Fly Attendant were over the moon because she was also nominated for Best Actress
Was
in
actress, yeah.
Television Series, Comedy, or Musical, and she was joined by Lily Collins from Emily in
Mhm.
Paris, Ellie Fanning from The Great, Jane Levi from Zoe and Extraordinary
Yeah.
Playlist. Good for her.
Hmm.
Catherine O'Hara from Schitt's Creek. Um,
Yeah, that's a pretty good group to be in. But with the caveat that I haven't seen most of those, I would say that Kaylee Cuoco definitely deserves an award for what she did with Flight Attendant.
it was
I thought it
this.
was a great show, and she performed.
It
I
was
mean, if you
this.
told me that like one of the stars of Big Bang Theory would be up for this, I'd be like, "Ah." But she did great, and she showed a lot,
Yeah,
showed some chops.
yeah.
Anyway,
The one that broke the mold was, Jane Levi from broadcast TV.
yes,
Jane's Extraordinary Playlist.
yeah.
Anyways, best performance in actor in television series have Don Cheadle by Black Monday,
Hmm.
Nicholas Hoult from The Great, Eugene Levi from Schitt's Creek, Jason Sudeikis from Ted Lasso, and
Hmm.
Rami Youssef from Remy. Ted Lasso also surprising people, but we saw the show. The show is good. It's
The show is good. It's solid. I thought the show itself was surprising. I saw Jason Sudeikis and that first episode was like, oh, this is just Major League, but there's a lot going on there.
Yeah, and the fact that he shows up with that big mustache of his, he's
I
like, hey,
know
coach.
he's all like his southern accent, like I'm gonna
Yeah,
coach your soccer club or whatever.
yeah. No,
Oh,
it's good. Okay, best television limited series, Normal People, The Queen, Small Axe, Undoing, The Undoing showing up finally. Unorthodox. Limited series, Normal People, Queen's Gambit, Small X, Undoing in Unorthodox. Did I read the same thing again? I think so. Best performance by an actress in a limited series. Kate Blanchett from Mrs. America, Daisy Edgar Jones from Normal People, Shira Haas from Unorthodox, Nicole Kidman from The Undoing,
mm,
Anna Taylor-Joy from Queen's Gambit, as we said before.
yeah.
Actor in a limited series, Bryan Cranston for Your Honor, Jeff Daniels, The Comey Role, Hugh Grant, The Undoing, Ethan Hawke, The Good Lord Bird, Mark Ruffalo, I Know This Much Is True. And this one is like big dog fight. This one is like,
Yeah.
whoa. Crystal, Daniels, Grant, Hawke, and Ruffalo. It's like, wow.
Actually, it's a pretty big list, isn't it?
Yeah. Actors in television supporting role: Gillian Anderson as Margaret Thatcher from The Crown,
Mm-hmm.
Helena Bonham Carter, The Crown, Julia Garner, Ozark, Amy Murphy, Schitt's Creek, Cynthia Nixon, Ratched. And finally, from my list, best performance in an actor in television supporting role: John Boyega, Small Axe, Brendan Gleeson, The Comey Rule, Daniel Levi, Schitt's Creek, Jim Parsons, Hollywood, and Donald Sutherland, The Undoing. The Undoing, popping with some acting categories.
Alrighty then.
Yeah, so
Wow, good stuff.
Golden Globe coming soon in February. I honestly thought they would move that like next year or something like that.
No, I think I like this approach. Like, let's move forward with it and let's just own that this is happening and do our socially distance production or whatever. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
fine. It'll be nice to see.
On
All
other
right.
news.
Yeah. Okay. So let's spend a minute with HBO Max because we have a release date for the Snyder Cut, and it is drum roll Oh no, that was I did the drum roll, and now you do the.
Oh, I didn't hear the
Hey.
number.
No, I was doing whatever.
March 18.
Yay!
Yeah. And yeah, everybody's very excited. They did post it. They keep posting new pictures and new images. The last one was like the Joker. Very creative.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jared Leto is the
Mhm.
Joker. But yeah, the
Yeah.
movie's gonna be
It was
released
like a
on
different
March.
look.
Sorry, what?
But it looks like it will be like Jared Leto the way he looks in Suicide Squad. Like it seems like
Oh,
longer hair.
I
We just see like a silhouette, but it seems like the word on the street is it's not exactly that Joker.
yeah, it looks like it might have long hair. It looks like it might have bald, so it could be from Nightmare. He's like, there's a doctor holding a card. Is he on a straight jacket? There's a lot to look at that image.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, the movie's gonna be released finally on March 18 on HBO Max, a 4-hour movie, as the director intended to be. The trailer will pop on Valentine's Day.
Yes. Finally real
During Super
trailer.
Bowl. Yeah, during Super Bowl, I think. And the movie's gonna be R, rated R.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Also from HBO Max, Wonder Woman 1984 was released on HBO Max on Christmas Day, and it beat Soul in Christmas week viewing. So Soul was released on Disney Plus the same day, but Wonder Woman won. Who's surprised? Oh no, not me.
Yeah, she won the Christmas battle.
Mm-hmm.
Matrix Resurrection. That's the rumor. It's out there that the new Matrix will be going to be called Matrix Resurrection.
Mm-hmm. And that's about all we know about that.
Yeah.
But that name would fit with like the other name, like Reloaded, and what was the other one?
Revolution.
Yeah, like if
Resurrection.
if it's
R-E.
Yeah. Yeah. And the whole like divine thing.
True, the chosen one.
Yeah, the chosen one. Yeah. The drag elements.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go over to Netflix for a minute.
What's going on Netflix?
They have announced a Pacific Rim animated series. I don't know why I said it in a weird way. An animated series, which I'm really excited about. I think Pacific Rim makes so much sense as an animation. You have these like over the top monsters and over the top robots, and with an animation you can do whatever you want with it. I think that'll be cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and I restarted watching Castlevania on Netflix, and oh my god, the show is so good. It's like,
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
they're getting it. They're finally getting it. And Warren Ellis is involved. Warren Ellis is a big time comic book author, and
Okay.
he's the man behind the show, and he's doing terrific. That's why stuff like this announcement for Pacific Rim is very exciting. So was the Assassin's Creed show that they're gonna release eventually. They just canceled the Zelda animation from Netflix because of a leak. I didn't get much details, but yeah.
Huh. Yeah. That's weird. That's disappointing.
Yeah. GameStop movie is in the works by Netflix and MGM. So
actually, no, those are two different movies.
Oh, it's two different movies.
Yeah, Netflix has started production on theirs, and MGM has bought rights for a different one.
Was like who you bought rights from?
Someone's starting a book. Like it's a book proposal, and MGM bought the rights for the book that someone is going to write.
That's bold, because is that author like worth, buying something? Yeah.
I don't know. Either way. So that's two movies that are.
Huh. Yeah. Anyways, this story we talked about last week, the whole GameStop, Reddit investors investing on Earth stock and GameStop, and if you're following the news, or if you follow us, if you didn't listen to last week's episode, so it's already becoming a movie.
All right. Anything else for Netflix?
I don't think so.
Except 42 nominations?
Yeah.
20. No, 20 for TV, 22 for film.
Yeah, I said plenty.
Oh, Plenty. Oh,
Yeah.
yep. Yes, that is Plenty. Anyways,
Disney
Disney.
Plus announced
Yeah.
a show for Wakanda. So
Yeah.
yeah, there's plenty of stories to tell there. So let's see what they're gonna tell. With good writers, they could go on forever.
Like it. I'm excited to see that. Even though we don't nothing else about it, like timing or anything like that.
Yeah.
But that'll be fun to see.
Talking about Kings of Africa,
Hmm.
one is coming back to America and coming back to America. Released on
Yeah.
March 15 at Amazon. And did you see the trailer?
I did see the trailer. I did. It actually kind of reminded me of Black Panther, and that this like African king dies and his son has to go to America to like figure out his past.
That's true, but it also plays on the first movie. You know, he goes to America to find. And the first is to find love, and this he
Yeah.
goes to find his son, which I don't know. I'm gonna go straight up guess here that the kid is not his son.
That would make yeah, I don't know. I was kind of surprised that they would go in that direction. So yeah, it not really being his son would make more sense.
Because first there's this whole the girl, the daughter wants to be
Hmm.
queen, and goes, oh no, but you're a daughter, and I have a boy, and he's not having a boy, you know, with like, especially the fact like the kid has no lines in the trailer. I mean, barely.
Yeah.
The mother, that's weirdly portrayed by Leslie Jones. Weird because the whole plot is kind of weird. It's like he comes to America, he finds
Hmm.
his love, but hey, there's something we never told you. He slept with this lady, and
It's a weird retcon, yeah.
yeah.
And it doesn't make
Anyways,
a whole lot of sense with the first movie.
yeah.
But I think this will be fun. James Earl
Oh
Jones is
yeah.
back.
Yes.
Um,
We have Leslie Jones. We have Tracy Morgan or Jordan, whoever he is now. Uh,
Morgan, Tracy Morgan.
we have I can't remember his name, but the father from the first movie, the daughter from the first movie, Arsenio
Mhm.
Hall is back.
Oh yes.
Yeah, it's oh, and this thing that I loved it's Wesley Snipes
Yes.
is the
Yes.
general that wants to take over the king. It was like, yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
yeah.
It's a pretty impressive cast. And then of course Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall are both playing multiple characters
Oh yeah.
who'll be in the same scene together.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
I was like, hey, what, Mufasa?
well, to be fair, James Earl Jones is reprising the role of an African king who
Yes,
dies.
yes,
So there's that.
yeah, and of course there's also Wakanda jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah,
Hmm.
coming to America on Amazon March 1st. So yeah, pretty soon.
March 5th, I think.
Huh?
March 5th? March
Yeah,
15th?
what I said?
March 1st.
Yeah, but I meant fifth because.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just really excited.
Quick one about CW. CW renewed
Mhm.
12 shows. Like the shows barely started again and they already renewed. All American, Batwoman, Charm,
Mhm.
DC Legends of Tomorrow, Dynasty, Flash, Dark, Legacies, Nancy Drew, Riverdale, Roswell, New Mexico,
Mhm.
Legends of Tomorrow, In the Dark, Roswell. What the heck? I wrote these twice. Anyways.
I don't even know. But there's a whole bunch of shows that
Yeah.
they renewed, including some shows that haven't even aired yet, right?
Yes. And talking about Superman and Lois and the Walker, they did requested more episodes.
Alrighty then.
Okay.
That's good for Jared Padalecki. He never needs to find another job ever because CW
Yeah, that's
is
true.
employed his entire life.
Yeah. His bro, his Paul is also hired. He's gonna be in the boys. He's gonna be boys
Yeah,
figure. So yeah, they good.
good for them.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go over to Peacock and NBC Universal. If you watched Punky Brewster in the 80s, I've got good news for you. The show's getting a revival. Not a reboot, but a revival following Punky Brewster as an adult.
Yes, with Soleil, Moon
Mm-hmm.
Frye is back. She's in the trailer,
Mm-hmm.
and
Freddie Prinze Jr. will be playing her recently ex-husband.
yeah, and I don't know about you, but I watched a lot of Punky Brewster. For some reason, it was big in Brazil.
Yeah, I
Movie.
never saw it
It was
at
a
all.
part of my childhood, and not only the live action show, but it became an animation too.
Really?
Yeah, and in the animation, they gave some magic aspect. She had a magic friend. They would like, yeah,
That's
fly
cool.
around and make magic for her. So, yeah, it's gonna be fun. Peacock reviving shows from our childhood. Not only that one, but also Saved by the Bell. It's
Hmm.
on, and with some of the original cast. Yeah,
Okay, cool. That's not all coming from Universal's part of NBC, right? Like they're in the same.
yeah, NBC Universal. Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, so then this segue makes sense. Um, so John Chu, he's recently become pretty big with Crazy Rich Asians, and then he's doing the film adaptation of In the Heights, which is another Lin-Manuel Miranda musical. Anyway, so that's coming out later this year, but they've announced that he's going to be directing a Wicked adaptation, and I am so excited. I've been dying to see this musical forever. I've been hoping for a good film adaptation because there's so much magic, like and I think it's just going to do really well on film, and I'm just excited to finally see it.
Yeah, John Shu. There was a schedule to direct Willow, but somehow got
That's
out of it.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, and now he's directing Wicked. That
Mhm.
is a prequel for The Wizard of Oz.
Yes, it is. And there hasn't been any casting in the tweet announcing it. He at the very end of the tweet he had said, "So, who wants to be Elphaba and Galinda?"
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, I mean they could use some
so
of the original cast, right?
they could. I mean,
Ajit Badab, whatever her name
yes.
is.
You
Yeah.
know she's still got the pipes
Oh
for it.
yeah,
Both of them are still incredible singers.
yeah. I mean they look old. They might go for younger
That would be
cast.
appropriate because they're supposed to be like
Yeah,
a high school freshman college age.
yeah,
But
yeah,
anyway, I am very much looking forward to that. I've been waiting for this for years.
yeah.
So
And yeah, it'll be fun. I did like the other prequel one, but people hate it. So let's see what they're gonna do next.
yeah, the musical is beloved. It's always a touring show.
Yep.
So I imagine the film will do well. And nobody in cat suits. That's a win. So, anyways, what
Zach,
else is going on?
yeah, Zach Levi is gonna star in the live action Harold and the Purple Crayon at Sony.
This is an interesting one because Harold and the Purple Crayon is a cute and short story about a little kid. So, not sure where they're going with this, but who am I to say no to Zachary Levi?
Yeah, it could be great. It could be okay.
I think
It
it
could
could
be
be.
short.
Mhm.
Definitely not so short.
Yeah,
Ah,
we'll see. Well, Hollywood does this all the time, taking like a short story and then expanding it into a feature-length film. And sometimes it's great, and sometimes it is not. Um,
if anything, it would be easier to adapt and improve in a short story than
sure.
the
Into
condense a
yeah,
book into 2 hours.
yeah.
We have plenty of examples that when that didn't happen very well.
Hmm. Yeah, it's not easy. Um, okay, so there's that. Also, Mattel Television and Fremantle are working on a whack-a-mole game show. So,
Yeah,
yay for that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, Hollywood lack of creativity. Oh, let's buy this Korean show. It's called The Masked Singer. It hits America. Everybody loves it. Let's do the Masked Dancer now.
I don't know. If something is making money, like might as well. And game shows come and go like crazy.
That's true. That's true.
I don't know. They'd have to do something pretty interesting with this because I don't really want to watch people like hit
Walking balls.
stuff. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, the host, if they have a cool host, it will happen. Will help too. Yeah,
Yes, yeah, the host can really carry.
yeah.
Can
Uh,
carry
Legendary remains confident in Buck Rogers. As we mentioned last week, Legendary wants to make a Buck Rogers adaptation. They remain confident in Buck Rogers' rights after the latest legal threat. Company was hit with a cease and desist letter Tuesday over planned reboot with George Clooney. So,
Yeah, there's so much drama here. Basically, two different companies insist that they have the rights to Buck Rogers. One group is trying to make a TV show, one group is trying to make a movie. Neither group agrees. There's a lot of drama. So, I don't know. We'll see.
well.
Okay.
A little bit about gaming. Tesla will be able to play Witcher 3.
Yeah, so this is what the Model 3. I don't remember which model, but they're actually putting like a gaming console or like a gaming PC, I guess,
I mean,
in
the
the
car, the
car.
car is a computer, right? So they're just gonna,
That's true, but it's gonna have, what did they say, 10 teraflops?
yeah,
Which is on par with the PS5.
yes.
So if you can't get a PS5, maybe hold out for the Tesla sports car and
Okay. Okay, where's my
sit in your car and play.
where's my card?
Yeah.
PS5. We still don't have a PS5, folks. We're trying. You know,
Yeah.
GameStop made a lot of money. I mean, technically
Well,
they didn't.
yeah.
But anyways, with all this GameStop craziness on the news, there's still no PlayStation 5s anywhere.
Mhm. Yeah. That's
Quick thing, this kid made a lot of money with the whole GameStop thing, and
mm.
he got some of the money. He buy consoles and donated to a kids hospital.
Oh, what a sweetheart.
Yeah,
Oh, people are great. Sometimes people are terrible, but then they come around and do stuff like
yeah.
that. But hey, babe, if you never get your PS5, maybe we can hold out for the KF console.
I
What's that,
honestly,
you ask?
I honestly thought that was a joke.
Me
Uh, uh,
too. This
and
is so absurd.
and it's not a joke. It's true story. And this the
Mhm,
console is it's like the specs are like over the top. It's like amazing.
mhm.
And also it's in the shape of a bucket.
Uh-huh.
And
Supposedly
all
multi-platform.
what?
It's allegedly multi-platform.
Yes, and also it's a chicken heater, whatever they call
Yeah.
chicken heater device.
It's got this like warming oven. So apparently what they're doing is like using all the heat like part of how the console manages like all the heat it produces is by putting that into warming chicken. Presumably you could heat up your, I don't know, hot pockets, pizza rolls, whatever your snack of choice. Yeah. So no
Ah,
joke, folks.
I honestly thought it was a joke. Just like they posted the trailer for a movie with what's it bucket. Uh, um, oh man, the guy from Saved by the Bell, he's on extra. The Latina guy.
I don't remember. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
I have a browser open. Let's see. It's okay, let me see this real quick. He's Frias. What's his name?
I truly don't know. I was not a Saved by the Bell
Oh,
fan.
since we're talking about Saved by the Bell, Dustin Diamond passed away.
Mhm.
He was Screech on Saved by the Bell. Mario Lopez, not Frias. Yeah. So they KFC posted this trailer with him and as a young Colonel Sanders on the steamy
Yes,
romance. That's like spicy steamy romance. I think that's a
that's
joke.
right. And
Yeah.
it was
So
not a joke.
KFC is not joking around.
Because KFC is just okay, movies, gaming.
Empire.
Ugh.
Yeah. What
Anyway.
else?
Oh, that's everything I've got.
Okay, so I guess that's it. That's it for this week. Next week is
Yeah.
back together.
Yay!
Yay! We're gonna be done with this whole doom
Mm-hmm.
thing. But we'll be back with news of entertainment. We're gonna watch this pretty cute movie called Little Things, and we're gonna come back and talk
Mm-hmm.
about it. But I guess that's it for this week.
Hmm.
May the force be with you.
Live long and prosper.
Bye.
Bye.